cherish all the time you spend, you tuned in to. It's time again to cherish all the time you spend, you tuned in to. It's the number one podcast. The topics of discussion when we broadcast. So all them artificial man jokes, we do it natural from the concrete to a public standpoint. Real, wherever you're from, life is coexistence, but to know the real, you just gotta listen. Wherever you're from, life is coexistence.
What's up, good people, and welcome to the 52 Scott Podcast. I'm your host, Mickey96, along with Freddie G, K Money, and Slash. Collectively, we are the Mindless Men. I want everybody that's on YouTube to go out and subscribe and click the like button. If you're on Twitter, follow us at 52 Scott Podcast, and on IG and Facebook at the 52 Scott Podcast. All right, and what's up, good people, and welcome back to another edition of Think Thursday. Today, we're going to talk sports. Sports and all it's cracked up to be. Now, back in the day, man, I think, and I know that sports was more of a competitive state of mind, whether versus a cash grab, so to speak. Don't get me wrong, people want to get paid for what they do. But I'm going to name just some people from back in the day when we were growing up. And all you need to answer is if you think they were a cash grab or they were in it for the competition. That's it. Just answer that. Just say cash grab, competition. I'm going to use an old school list. Then I have a top 30 of the current sports players. That means today's sports players. So I'm comparing today's sports players versus yesteryear. So I'm going to start off with basketball. Karl Malone. You think he was in it for the cash grab or for competition? Was he trying to win an NBA championship? Or was he in it for the money? Was he a competitor?
I think he was a competitor.
He's a competitor. Okay. What do you think, Freddie G?
Competitor.
Slash, you big on basketball? You think he's a competitor? Or
competitor.
He's in it for the... Okay. No cash grabs, okay? Let's go with Larry Bird. Competitor, cash grab.
Competitive.
Competitor.
Yeah, most definitely a competitor.
That's okay. K Money. Okay. Freddie G.
Competitor.
All right. See, these are old school players. Going to football now. Lawrence Taylor, Slash.
Competitive.
Freddie G.
Competitor.
See where I'm going with this? Now, I'm gonna pick another old school player, and he made a lot of money. So I want the audience to see where I'm going with this. Michael Jordan, competitor or cash grab?
That, you know what?
It's hard, ain't it?
Yeah,
but
you can't really choose out of the two.
He just made a lot of money.
But he was really good too.
Exactly. But it wasn't a cash grab.
But he was really good, so he was a competitor as well as being a cash grab.
Okay, and what do you think, Freddie G?
A competitor. His competitor being competitive
got him paid.
Brought the money.
There you go.
Competitor first.
There it is. And K Money.
Yeah, I agree with Freddie G. You know, he was competitive first.
Competitor first. And that's the point I'm trying to make. I agree with all of you. All five that I just named, was it 4 or 5 that I just named? They were all competitive. Now, this list I'm going to go over now is going to have you thinking a little hard, because you had to think a little bit about Michael Jordan, right? You had to think. So let's start with, I'm going to start with an easy one first. And this is from Forbes. The top 50, it's actually the top 50 highest paid athletes from Forbes. So 50 is Tom Brady, cash grab or competitor. That was an easy one.
Competitor.
Yeah, that was an easy one. Yeah. So I'm not going to go through the whole 50. I just found a lot of these names very, very interesting, okay? Next one I'm going to go to. Anthony Davis, from the Pelicans, the Lakers, and wherever else.
You got me.
Okay, I got that. That was Slash. Slash can't answer. I'm gonna let you come back to you, Freddie G. What you think?
Okay, I think competitor, but I think the injuries is what makes him look like he's not a good competitor, that he don't want to compete. But I think competitor.
You think competitor? What did you say, K?
I have to agree again with Freddie G. Because he was a dog coming out of college. I only did 1 year, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, he was definitely a competitor.
Well, a lot of them were dogs coming out of college. I mean, yeah, Carmelo Anthony. And now, don't get me wrong, Melo was a competitor at one point, but in Denver, I say in Denver. After Denver, I think it was all cash grab, because I know he was cold when he was in Denver.
Well, at the end of their career, when it gets close to the end of their career, it's all about a cash grab then. But early on, it's all. I mean, I think they all are competitors.
Yeah.
I don't think.
See, now I think that the cash grab comes when they start to understand the business, and that the owners are looking at it from the business standpoint. And at the end of the day, we'll get rid of you when it's time, when we're ready to move on from you, where the players initially start out as being competitive and they're actually loyal to the franchise. But once they start to learn the business, they understand that, you know what, I need to get the most money when I can and what the market dictates.
Exactly.
I can see that. However, if you see what I did at the beginning of the show, we have way more competitive. Well, we're not done yet because we got some more to go over, right? But the next two, one of these are first one, Kawhi Leonard. San Antonio's old bass. He's at the Clippers now. Cash grab competitor. Just for me, he was a competitor in San Antonio. That's how I feel. And Slash, what you think?
I say competitor, man.
I say competitor. I think, again, in the same realm of Anthony Davis, the injuries make it appear as if it was a cash grab. But when you said he was a competitor in San Antonio, but you got to keep in mind, he also single-handedly won a championship for Toronto.
True. Okay, I got you there. You did. You got me there. Now, this is the one. This is my biggest disappointment. And first, before I go on, guys, I wasn't giving y'all what their salary is. So I'm gonna go back. I started with Tom Brady. He's number 50 at $45.2 million. Then I think Anthony Davis was 48.5. No, I'm sorry. Yeah, 48 million. And then Kawhi Leonard was 50.5 million. Now, my biggest disappointment, and I just knew this dude was good. He was good in Indiana. Paul George. I say cash grab.
I say competitor.
You say competitor? Freddie G?
I say competitor.
And
Competitor, man.
I say cash grab. He stay hurt all the time. All the times.
And that's
but
the
the
point.
injuries, the
That's the
reason-
point I was
yeah.
making with Kawhi, and the point I was making with
Anthony Davis.
Anthony
Yeah, it's
Davis.
the injuries.
You can't do anything about being hurt. I mean, injured.
Okay, so Paul George, 51.5 million. So I'm gonna put a pin in this list. I think I like LeBron. Don't get me wrong. But I think when LeBron came into the league and all this, players need to rest. They didn't start doing that till LeBron came in. Players resting.
I disagree with that.
When did they start doing
I
that?
disagree. San Antonio, Greg Popovich was doing it all the time.
He was okay,
All the time.
But his team only.
Tim Duncan, but still
who
rest.
actually went on air?
No,
and-
I disagree with that. Greg Popovich been doing
that's
it the
per
whole time.
team. That's his team. I'm talking about who actually went on air on ESPN and said players need to be rested. Popovich didn't do that. They asked about it. Why didn't they play? And hey, man, this is my team.
And what did he say though? What did he say?
He said
players need to be rested.
That's his team. That's fine.
Okay, so when everybody's on the team.
But when LeBron did it, now every team is doing it. So you will go to a game and a star on that team will be resting, and you have paid $84 to sit in the stands to watch.
At the end of the day, I can make an argument that Greg Popovich set the tone for LeBron James to start resting.
Okay, so Popovich was more of he wasn't in the 90s maybe, but before that, all this resting players and stuff, that was not going on. This has only been recent. You gotta understand, people play big.
What do you call recent? What do you call recent?
I'll say within the last 20 years.
Within the last 20 years.
Yeah.
Okay, so Greg Popovich was on San Antonio was on top in what?
02, 03.
No, the 90s.
In the 90s.
Yeah,
the 90s.
When he was resting all of them players back then.
Only 23 years in. I mean, I get what you're saying.
Okay, so that's over 20 years.
Well, 20 something years. You know what I mean? It's under 25. Just say that we're under 25. But the point I'm trying to make, you have fans that pay big money for these tickets.
You have a valid point. I know the point. I see the point you're making.
If I just say one of my favorite players are coming to the city and they play for just say the Knicks, I don't know, and the Knicks, and I come to the stadium and I'm expecting that Knicks player to be there, and he's resting today. He ain't hurt. He's resting. And we've had this discussion before, and I understand we get sick days, but you got to understand, these people, these basketball players, football, they play maybe 4 to 5 months out of the year. Them other 6 months, they off. They off.
Okay, so how does the resting correlate to doing it for the money or doing it to be competitive?
They're not doing it to be competitive. If you're only working a few months out, it's not even work, it's play. And you're playing a few months out of the year.
So they're not. Play. They don't want to be competitive. They just want to.
They want to get the day in it for the check. Yeah.
Okay. So
see, when Michael Jordan had the flu, look, remember he had the flu. He throwing up, still played competitive.
Okay, I get that.
Right now, somebody get their earlobe hurt. My earlobe hurt. I gotta be out for 2 or 3 weeks because my earlobe.
I get that. So you use like at the beginning of the show, NFL players, and you went to some old school players, right?
Right. I'm jumping around.
Yeah, NFL no, it's all right. But you use some old school players like Lawrence Taylor, and what other old school player you use?
I think I use Larry Bird and.
No, I'm talking about NFL.
Oh, NFL.
For an example, yeah.
Who did I use in NFL? I think it was 3 NBA.
Okay,
NFL.
So my point I'm trying to make is, I think that no matter what the athlete is, they all want to compete because they started out doing it for fun, Little League, so for the most part, in high school. So they all want to compete.
Right.
But when the money comes into play, they're professionals. Then they learn the business part of it. Then that's where it actually changed. They still got the competing mentality, I think. But I think that just, hey, pay me what I'm worth. Now, on top of that, here's proof. You know that every so often there is a collective bargaining agreement. And so forth, even back in the 80s, where the NFL actually went on strike because the money wasn't right.
Correct.
So it's all, once they make it to pro, now it's about the business. Yeah, we're still competitive, and you want us to put our bodies on the line every night, compete every night, put our bodies on the line with hardly no rest. Now, some people's bodies can tolerate a little bit more pain than others. So we can't be saying, oh, he played with a broke ankle, so you should be able to play with a broke ankle. Everybody's pain level is different.
So this show finna turn into something totally different because I'm finna go in on Freddie G. There are coal miners. There are underwater welders. Yeah, they get sick days. Okay. They get sick days. Everybody gets sick days. But what they can't do is complain about the work that they do because it's still going to be there. However, you don't feel the NFL, NBA players are somewhat entitled more than a regular working man, and this
Okay.
is a play for you know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah, let me answer that.
Yeah,
So, for starters, you used the word complain.
yeah.
Well, you probably don't hear a coal miner, which I think is comparing apples to oranges, complaining because they don't have a journalist in their face asking them questions that they have to answer after every game. So if you're asking a specific question and somebody's being honest when they're answering the question, then hey, that's why you're knowing that they're playing with injuries. That's why you know that they're tired. That's why you know that, hey, I wasn't 100%. And so because these journalists are asking questions, their life is on display all the time. So that's why you know that. So when you saying a coal miner that don't complain, well, I bet you when that coal miner go home, he goes to his wife and asks him how his day, he gonna complain. Well, I got lung cancer today. You know, I got whatever. My feet hurt. My gout kicked up.
Right.
Whatever. So I bet you they gonna complain then. It's just that the basketball players and football players are under a microscope. Okay, your turn to go back in.
Nah, you really didn't prove anything because I'm just being honest with you. It's silly to me for them to complain about, and they getting millions to where people are getting $20, $30, $40 an hour to work, and you getting millions to play. It's really ridiculous, and I feel that most of these pro players are just entitled, man, and they just that's because I'm this good, I can get whatever. Man, you get millions of dollars to play, man. Shut up and play. That's how I feel.
Hey, I know of one player that I do feel it was cash grab, and that was Jamarcus Russell.
Yes.
Yeah, no, he quit.
Right. Now
Yeah.
that looks more like a cash grab,
grab.
and he was still competitive before then.
I know. Look, I know Floyd Mayweather. He's not on this list, but I know Floyd Mayweather is he's undefeated. But y'all think it was a cash grab because to me, I feel like he handpicked his fighters.
No, he's smart.
Yeah. He's smart. Yeah,
He's smart.
I really want him. It's too late now. I want him to fight Amir Khan. He would have won. I know that, but he got knotted up. Amir Khan got some hands. So he was very smart on the way he picked his fight. He's waiting till fighters are either too young
But here's
or
the-
too old,
here's the
and he
thing.
fought him.
Here's the thing, man.
Yeah,
Contrary to what other boxers may say, man, at the end of the day,
He
all
undefeated.
of these boxers, including Muhammad Ali, they all pick their fighters. Y'all get a chance to pick your fighters, man. Especially when you on top. It's up to you who you want to give
Yep.
a shot at the title. It's up to you. So they all pick their fighters.
True that. Another one on this list. This one's up in the air, man. James Harden. James Harden. Old James Harden. What y'all think?
Competitive first.
At one point. Probably not in the last 2 years. Well, he's still hooping, don't get me wrong. But I think he's the highest bidder. I think it's some players to me is the highest bidder. It's like they just
I think that when it comes to James Harden, I think that you can look at him being competitive and being a competitor, but when he doesn't show up for the big games, people think that he doesn't want to compete, right?
right.
But man, if you ever play any sports on any level, man, if you in the big game, I don't think, unless you just getting paid some under the money table, for the most part, I don't know if you just really truly just check all the way out mentally. Your competitive spirit won't allow you to.
Under the money table. Under the table money. I just wanted to make the correction because it was confusing. And I just wanted to correct it.
Okay, help me to understand why I'm
Under
confused.
the table money. You said under the money table.
Oh, okay.
Instead of under the table money. I just picked it out.
Okay.
But
I didn't want to
Unless you're getting money under the table.
money.
Right.
There it is. That's the word you're looking for. That's a good one.
I didn't want the listeners to be confused and not, we just straighten them out.
Straighten them out. son.
Yeah. You know.
There you go, Slice. We so appreciate it. All right, Kevin Durant, our competitor. Golly, though.
He's a competitor, but he had a story.
Yeah.
Coming from his the background that he came from, he wanted that money.
Yeah.
Sooner than later. Mm-hmm. But because of his talent, he was able to increase that.
Yeah.
And so he should. But he's definitely a competitor.
Yeah.
And then too, let's be honest, man.
Mm-hmm.
When you come from situations like most of these black athletes come from, it's about the money, especially when you go from high school to pro.
Right. Yeah.
You know that hey, it's about the money. Let me get this money to be able to take care of my family. Now, I did hear you say Comedian 96 about entitlement and how these athletes are entitled.
Yes.
I understand where you're coming from, but let me say this. I think that I'm entitled. I think that you're entitled. I think that Slash is entitled. I think that K-Money is entitled. Let me tell you what I think you're entitled to. You're entitled to the money that you work on your job every day, that you deserve, and all of the hard work you put in. So if the money says that you should make $100 an hour and you only getting $20 an hour, then you need to go and tell these people, hey, I think I'm worth more this when the raises are passed out, because I'm entitled to this because I do X amount of dollars. Mm-hmm. So with these athletes making these millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars, mm-hmm. and the salary cap says, not the salary cap, but the what they make for these positions, hey, I play forward, mm-hmm. forwards make this amount of money, or I play running back make this kind of money. Mm-hmm. Well, if my numbers and my stats say I should be making these kind of dollars, don't lowball me, because I'm entitled to this amount of dollars. Don't lowball me.
And I totally feel that. It's just that
you pretty much saying they sensitive.
No, all I'm saying is pro athletes, when I pay for our tickets, or when we pay for our tickets, we just want to see you out there playing. Peace.
This concludes our show for today, and if you haven't done so already, follow us on Twitter at 52 Scott Podcast, also IG and Facebook at the 52 Scott Podcast. Also, like and subscribe if you're on YouTube. Make sure you tune in tomorrow for Black Friday. See you all soon.